Hey, what's up, Yoon fam? It is I, Mark Yoon, and today I'm bringing another hopefully exciting video. So what I got for you today is an interview with Motohiro Okubo, which most of you have probably already heard, but then we're going to have a unique discussion about the future of Soul Calibur 6 on platforms that has not yet been released, namely the Switch. We're going to go into whys and why nots, and just basically all around hopefully inform you of whether this is actually going to happen or not. So let's move right along with the beginning, opening with the interview from Motohiro Okubo. Now I'm going to talk about the original interview first, but first let's just go into this little introduction. So obviously there's a lot of fighting games that are on Switch. We have Dragon Ball FighterZ, Xenoverse 2, which I heard runs horribly. It's glitchy as all hell, and it even drops frames like in the opening hub. Mortal Kombat 11 for one. I'm not gonna count their proprietary stuff like Smash and stuff like that, just like third-party stuff, because that's what this is more referring to. But Motohiro Okubo did a interview in August of 2018, and he actually said, I believe the interviewer asked him if there's plans to put Soul Calibur 6 on the Nintendo Switch. And he said, at the moment, there is no development for Switch at all. I understand that the Switch is a very successful hardware, and of course, if there's a possibility, then it would be great to do it. Now, that left Cage's doors open for us to possibly have a future with Soul Calibur on the Switch. But he just did a more recent interview, which was, I believe, this year, and he said, I quote, if I have to answer seriously, I think that I remember telling you previously that we're not sure we can port the game to the Nintendo Switch. I said we have to examine and look into that. And well, when I said that, I didn't know if we'd have a Season 2 yet. And now that we have one, I'll be totally honest with you by saying we don't have the time to look into that. So basically the situation hasn't changed much. Part of this is telling us obviously that on Switch right now there's no plans to still release it. And Switch is kind of almost done its life cycle at this point, so we're midway through it, so we are not sure if we're ever going to see that on there. He also said, I gotta be honest with saying we don't have time to look into that. So Switch is a super popular platform, and he even acknowledged that in this interview, and says that they still don't have the time to port that over, which means that they would have blustering sales if the game was properly ported. But the fact that they don't even have time to look into that because they're focused on Soul Calibur 2, Soul Calibur Season 2, this just proves my point from before with saying that the team can't be split into working on Soul Calibur 7 and Season 3 at the same time. They have such a small team that they have to focus on one thing at a time, but that's neither here nor there. Maybe we'll do a separate video on that at some point. But, so basically, we would all take that as a no. We know that, like, there have been Soul Calibur games released on Nintendo platforms in the past. Soul Calibur Legends in 2007 was on the Wii. Soul Calibur 2 was on the GameCube. And that's pretty much it. So, like, Soul Calibur doesn't really have much of a presence on the console itself. Now, can it run on Switch? I personally don't think they should port it to this current iteration of Switch, and I don't think they will because the specifications of the system requirements are far too heavy for Soul Calibur 6 to expect it to run on the processor that is inside the Switch, which is literally a cell phone processor. So I'm not sure if we can actually get out of that without cutting some huge corners. And we can look to previous examples that we have right now currently, like Mortal Kombat 11. Now, the system requirements for Soul Calibur 6 these are the minimum. You need a CPU Intel Core i3 4160 or 3.6 gigahertz, or AMD Phenomenon 2 X4 965 3.4 gigahertz, RAM of at least 6 gigabytes, operating system at least Windows 7 64-bit, video card of 2 gigabytes, GeForce GTX 660 or Radeon 67370, and a free disk space of at least 60 gigs. Now let's look at Mortal Kombat on the actual Switch port, and let's see what Forbes had to say about some of its specs. There's a substantial, and in this case, undocked play extreme decline in resolution on the Switch. On one hand, lower resolution on the Switch is expected given its limited hardware. On the other, the loss in resolution is really stark. Mortal Kombat 11 just doesn't look very good on the Switch, although the small handheld screen offsets the poor resolution to some extent when playing in undocked mode. So in order to get the game to run at 60 frames per second, which it does on the Switch, they actually cut a lot of corners. They got rid of a lot of shadow and texture detail. They reduced the polygon count of the characters themselves. They actually look really low res. It's almost as if it looks like, I mean, like a PS, I don't want to say PS2, but I'd say like a PS3 version of the game. It's just, it doesn't look very nice. It runs pretty well, but there's not really any staggering, but it just looks horrible. The specifications that to run it in 4K and the percentage of that I'll show on screen now. We can see down that the Switch, when it's docked, it has an 11% chance to run at 1280 by 720, and it has a low chance, 6% of running at 650 by 540, low meaning that's the resolution. The percent 4K capable is the 6% there. Undocked is even less with 5% and 3%, and you can see how it compares to the other consoles. But we all know this because it doesn't really compare to the Xbox the Xbox One, I'm sorry, or the PS4. It's not really in the same league with them. That's why they're so popular with their proprietary games, because they are developed around their engine, which is why some games like Breath of the Wild look so good. But we generally wouldn't be able to run it on this Switch anyway. But without like wasting your time with any more, let's get to what I have to say about the future of it. So, recent rumors have led to a credible amount of information coming forward that there is going to be a new Switch system released in 2021, this upcoming year. Whether that is released this year is yet to be seen, but it's slated to be, it was originally intended to be like a Switch Pro kind of thing, and I'm still leaning towards that's what it is, but it's more seeming like it's almost a halfway mark, a mid-version refresh to a Switch 2 kind of situation, where it's going to be able to run the same hardware at the same frame rates and same resolution as like a PS4 and Xbox One. So while this can't compete with next-gen games, this will definitely make it compete with current-gen games, and usually that's how Nintendo goes. They're usually like a system or generation behind like Xbox and PlayStation 4 in terms of resolution and stuff like that, but that's just based on the technology that they use, because they like to go more with not necessarily a bad thing, but like a gimmicky style of pursuing marketing as opposed to just straight up graphical powerhouse kind of techniques. But with the next iteration of the console and that evolution, so to speak, that we can definitely see Soul Calibur 6 on the next one. This would actually probably tie in perfectly with a collector's edition of the game, where if at that point Season 3 is announced, we could have all 3 seasons thus far on a collector's edition of the game on the new Switch, and I believe that would be pretty easily attainable. And I think that is something that probably Motohiro Okubo and Project Soul, along with Bandai Namco, are going to look into when that system releases, because it's obviously going to be super popular, especially for people who couldn't really get their hands on a next-gen console, but they want a somewhat next-gen experience, or straight up, mostly everyone gets Nintendo stuff too. I always buy Nintendo systems, even though I'm mainly for PlayStation. I have Xbox consoles as well, but when it comes down to it, it would be a stupid move for them sales-wise. Now, we already know that Soul Calibur 6, as of this year, has outsold all previous Soul Calibur games, I believe with the exception of Soul Calibur 4 and Soul Calibur 2. But if you're including Season Pass stuff, I believe it is currently outselling Soul Calibur 4. So it's pretty successful, and I'm thinking that they're going to want to put that on there. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to see a port of that on PS5 or Xbox Series X, so this would be a better way for people to buy a collector's edition, and I think it would be a smart move for them to do that way. I would like to see a collector's edition on the next-gen consoles as well, but I don't think that they really have the time to focus on the upscaling and the resolution required to port them over. It's a major event for companies that are large with large teams to do. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like, are you upset that you don't think that Soul Calibur 6 is going to be on the Switch? Can you see it on there? Do you think like the graphical interfaces and all the the bugs and glitches would be worth having it on a portable handheld system, or are you more willing to wait for the next generation of Switch in order to enjoy it handheld? Any and all thoughts are always welcome in the comment section down below. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you found this informative and hopefully you got something out of it. If so, I appreciate a like. And with that being said, thank you.
And thank you.
Hey, what's up guys? Have you always wanted some sweet Mark Yoon merch? Maybe a thick U shirt, maybe a shirt from Squirt, maybe my pretty face with my logo all over your body, or a throw pillow, or blanket, or anything? Well, you're in luck, because I just launched my merch store and it is going to be available on Redbubble, and you will find a link to it in my description box down below. It's got a lot of quality content and a lot of good stuff for you to pick up, so you can show your support for the channel and just rep Mark Yoon.